America East fans, I'm Dani Klupenger, and I'm joined by Tom Garrick, head coach of UMass Lowell. And coach, first of all, thanks so much for giving me a couple minutes so we can get a little bit more insight on your basketball team.
No, no problem. Thanks for taking the time to call.
Absolutely. And man, what a story for you guys. 0-7 to start the year, and you've gone 8 of 10 since. Can you think of a moment in time around there that just flipped the switch for you guys?
I kind of wish I could, because then that might have given us a chance not to go 0-7 if I knew that switch. I think it's just about our kids getting comfortable, getting more experienced. We're a really young team, and I think they're just starting to figure it out.
Okay, so 4-0 in America East play so far. That's the first time in school history that that's happened for you guys, including a huge win at Binghamton, a team that's won 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me through that game a little bit and what went on. I know you guys were up by double digits at halftime, but they did cut it to one. So kind of talk to me about that game.
I'm most proud of the fact that after losing an 11-point lead, falling down by one or two, that our kids had the resiliency and the toughness to face adversity, come back from it, get a lead, and maintain it. That's the growth that I was looking for in this team, and that's what they showed the other day. That's why I feel so positive about where the program is going. The 4-0 start is great. The 8 out of 10 games is wonderful. But honestly, I try to keep our kids feeling like it's much ado about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you play the games to try to win. I like Herm Edwards, right? So we feel like we're prepared, and every game we go into, we're capable of winning. That's how I want our team to believe. So I don't want them to get complacent now. I want them to stay hungry and look for bigger and better things. So that's what we're trying to do. That's how we're trying to keep them focused.
Well, to get them ready for games like that, it must start in practice for you guys. So, what is a specific focus of your practices where if your team checks that off the list, then they are doing a good job in your eyes?
Every day we try to get better at something. And there's like a running joke on our team, like I'm kind of like Danny the Downer, because no matter how good it is, I always come up with something that could be done better. And I relish that role because it's my responsibility to our players and to our program, to keep them moving in the right direction. Uh, we can't have it a situation where our kids just feel like they've arrived.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, as a competitor, that once you do that, you start to slide backwards. You start to have some slippage. So each and every day in practice, we focus on the defensive end of the floor, how we can get better, how we can refine our game, and then we do a whole bunch of offensive stuff to try to get better and more adept at the offensive end of the floor. It's that's what I mean. We're not reinventing the wheel. Practice is practice. Basketball is basketball. Everybody kind of does the same thing with a little different flavor to it, and we're no different. Our kids are working hard every day, and they're starting to believe in themselves.
So, since you start defensively, is that the identity of your team, or what would you like the identity of your program maybe at the end of this year to look like and years down the road to continue on like?
That when you play UMass Lowell basketball, you have to play basketball players. Like
Mm-hmm.
we want, just like everybody else, we want that positionless type of basketball where we can play 1 through 5. Everybody can handle, pass, decision make, and shoot. On defense, we want to be able to switch. We're not quite there yet, but we're working our way towards it. And I think the more we progress every day, the closer we get to that identity, and the tougher we'll be to compete against each and every day.
Sounds like you got a good chunk of players there, four in particular, that play 30 minutes a game for you. How heavily are you relying on those starters?
We are. We're relying a lot on our starters, but we're a lot more versatile than that would indicate. We go about 8 or 9 deep, but
Mm-hmm.
when we find a set of players that works on that given day, we run it till the wheels come off. So, I mean, it was working from the beginning at Binghamton, and there was no reason to change it. I don't want to cut off my nose to spite my face just to say we play 10 deep. Like it's not about that. It's about being successful in the game. So if these 5 players are going well, and much to the credit of the girls on our team and the character of this team, if somebody plays 20 minutes one day and 5 minutes the next, they don't complain about it. They understand what the situation is and that we had a favorable matchup here or a non-favorable matchup there, and this is why we had the lineup that we had out there.
The last and final thing I just want to ask you about is the fact that you do start two freshmen and a sophomore.
Yeah.
Um, what did they do to you for you so early on that made you feel confident putting them in that position? And then how have they responded to that challenge?
they signed their national letters of intent. We're just trying to get better with recruiting every day.
Yeah.
We graduated a good amount in my first year here. And we had these kids targeted as people who could come in and make a difference. And from the time they stepped on campus, from the summer conditioning to all of those things, they didn't disappoint. So they deserve to start. And now they've maintained it. They've had their ups and downs, like you think freshmen would, but our upperclassmen have now been able to carry the water consistently to allow those kids to try to figure it out on the go. Because we threw them into the deep end right away, a la the 0-7 start maybe. But now they're starting to figure it out more. Our upperclassmen, like I said, are starting to be the leaders that we knew they could be. And everybody's kind of hitting their stride and figuring it out. We have a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. I mean, and I'm happy to talk about the start because the kids have earned it and they deserve this. But we have so far to go that I try to keep an even keel. I try not to get too high or too low because I know what could be lurking around the corner. And I try to remind them, like I said, we were 0-7 at some point. So don't get too high on the hog to think that that can't happen again. And we have to stop it from happening. We have to actually prepare to keep that from reoccurring. So that's our daily focus and practice.
Well, Coach, it sounds like they've got a great guy leading them at the helm. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Well, thanks. Thanks for calling and showing interest in our program. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.